Hello and welcome to Desynced Nerds, a Nintendo Switch podcast. This is episode 26. Oh my god, it's 26. Airing on Sunday, the 25th of March.
Wait. You know what that means, right?
No, what does that mean?
It means we're 6 months old.
Oh, snap, we're super old.
Okay, sorry.
I've never been this old in my whole life.
Same.
This episode is brought to you by our Patreon. You can check out our page over at patreon.com/desyncednerds. We're your hosts. I'm Colin on Twitter at DSNColin. He's Devon on Twitter at Kulona. You can find the show at Desynced Nerds. As you know, we bring you the latest news and hot topics from around the internet. We need to shorten this file. This week we have Goku and Banjo-Kazooie coming to Smash, a Joy-Con with a D-pad, and the Nintendies. The Nintendies Direct coming up at the end of the show. But first, some show news. I am moving on Sunday, which happens to also be Easter, random fact. And I probably won't have internet for a while, so we won't be doing a show next week, but we will pick it up the week following, which is some date in April. Anyway, weekend gaming. Devon, what's your weekend gaming like?
I bought Axiom Verge. I played the Birthdays demo, which we will talk about. What else did I do? I'm still fighting with Golf Story, because Golf Story keeps trolling me and being extremely difficult. A lot, way harder than it should be. Also looking forward to Football Manager Touch, which just got announced, and I'm excited for that. Which it's like a management game. I like games that are like, Game Dev Story and whatnot, or the Holy Potatoes games. Those are great examples of just like management sims. So I like that kind of thing.
You just referenced a bunch of stuff I've never played or heard of really outside the show. So yeah, okay, yeah, sure, great examples, perfect. I get it. Yeah.
Whatever. Moving on. What did you do?
Kirby Star Allies, which you've probably heard of. Also, Bayonetta 2 a little bit. Really enjoying Kirby Star Allies, even though it's like just a walk in the park. I guess because it's so easy, that's why it's fun. Because you're just basically invincible. It's like any game on God mode all the time, permanently.
I mean, there's something to be said for like the exploration and the exploring the world is more of the goal rather than the challenge of a platformer. Yeah,
except the worlds are all very, very simple too. It's definitely meant for children, which is probably why I like it. I've also, moving on after that self-burn, I pre-ordered my Smash Bros. Because you can already pre-order Smash Bros. On that vein, I've also pre-ordered Wolfenstein 2 and Dark Souls, but that's old. But a new pre-order was Ys 8, because now we have a release date, blah, 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 coming out June 26th in NA and 29th for the EU. Super hype.
Ooh, that. And again with the JRPGs that I won't touch because...
I kind of got it because I wanted an actual action version of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I mean, I guess it's technically an action version, but it takes 45 minutes to kill a mob that's like 20 levels below you. So...
Fair enough.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. But I mean, that was my weekend gaming.
You beat it and enjoyed it. You were talking about it being almost your game of the year, so clearly nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, on to the news.
First thing up, Sonic Mania is getting a deluxe physical release. You expletive would. I'm going to buy this.
I know you are.
That's just... Anyway, what's this?
It is... you kind of said what it is. So it comes with a amazing reversible cover. So basically, the reversible cover shows a Sega. Oh god, I can't think of the system. Not Genesis.
It is Genesis.
I was thinking Genesis was the handheld. Anyway, it you reverse it and it looks like a Sega Genesis box, which
that's a Game Gear, by the way. The handheld is the Game Gear.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, sorry.
On to things that are actually relevant to us. Yeah, so it's got a reversible cover which shows you the Game Gear. You're trolling me. The Genesis box art, and it looks amazing. It's so awesome. It also comes with an art book, but who cares about the art book? And it also has... Yeah, but you're a nerd. Nobody likes you. Anyway.
Oh, sorry.
It also comes with some game updates. You get 2 new playable characters, which... Are there already multiple playable characters in that game?
Yeah, there's also Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles right now.
Are they super distinct, or are they? I mean, those are fairly distinct characters. Okay, so
they play exactly like you would think. Knuckles can climb walls, Tails flies, and Sonic is just
goes fast.
Yeah,
Sonic. So yeah, 2 new playable characters, which presumably are going to be that same level of interesting and unique. they're adding an encore mode, which they don't say anything about. It's just encore mode will be added. And then they also added a expanded 4-player competitive mode, which I don't know how I feel about that. I like Sonic to kind of be the exploration game and not a competitive game, but who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. And then, so all of this comes free with the digital edition, which will be retailing for 30 USD or 30 euros. And if you don't want to buy this upgrade, you can buy a DLC pack, which they didn't detail the price of. So you're 100% getting this, even though you have 20 minutes into Sonic Mania?
I have like an hour and a half, maybe 2. I mean, I just like that it's a physical, so that's mostly what it is for me. But I also really enjoyed Sonic Mania like a lot, and I haven't played it not because I didn't like it, but because I've had other things that I've wanted to play instead.
A million other things to play.
Oh my god, a million! And then yeah, we'll talk about that later. I bought another new game today that I didn't put in my week in gaming.
Did you?
Totally not intentional.
Nice. Are you going to reverse the cover? Is that a thing that you're into, or is that just me?
I don't actually like it. Don't hang me out to dry.
What?
I like it. I get it. I appreciate it, but it's not. I really, really like the Sonic Mania cover. Like, I think it looks way better than the Genesis style. But it's cool. I mean, I'm glad it's there. When I open it, I get to see it through the clear plastic.
Yeah, that's
true.
That's
good enough for me.
That is a pretty cool feature.
Yeah. That's all. That's all I got for that. Let's move on. There are some rumors about the potential new Switch version. What are you talking about?
So as much as they keep talking about how they don't want to do a Switch 2.0, I think that the hacking that's happening right now, which we've not really detailed, but it is a thing that exists. I think that that's really scaring Nintendo, and they're trying to make this a thing that they solve. They are definitely replacing the stock video card. We're pretty sure about that, and they're gonna use a custom made version, presumably with much better security on it, because the current one is a joke, more or less. What I heard is that there's a fairly detailed, like, publicly available manual for how to program the video card, and that is causing it's very easy for hackers to get into it and do stuff because they've got a full manual to how to interact with it. So, but we did also hear that they will be upgrading the RAM from 4 gigs to 8 gigs as part of this upgrade. And in other more important news, the Switch only has 4 gigs of RAM. I should have looked this up before the show. Is that a standard thing for consoles?
I believe. Well, I mean, Xbox and PlayStation 4 are obviously much bigger, much better consoles, but I'm pretty sure they have more than that.
I would hope so, because 4 is just so tiny. I really assumed that 16 or at least 8 was the bare minimum for stuff these days. I would not build a computer.
I'm looking right here. It says that the PS4 has GDDR5 8 gigs of RAM.
Oh, wow. Okay, so that's
the standard PlayStation, like, not the Pro.
Crazy. Okay, so 8's the standard. I still can't believe 4. 4 is so small. Anyway, so yeah, we will potentially be getting a new Switch 2.0. People are talking about all kinds of crazy stuff that they could do with this, but
I think so. Like, Nintendo, obviously, they were on the record like they didn't want to do it. I think it's because that you can alter the hardware specifically, and that's why they want to do it. I don't think they want to do this. Like, I don't think they ever wanted to do this. I think 5.0. Like, I thought 5.0 was supposed to fix that, because I thought the homebrew community was like, oh, if you get a Switch that's 5.0 or later, forget it. We can't crack this. Even with the hardware module.
Yeah, see, that was my understanding, was the hardware module allowed you to circumvent that, but as per usual, this is not something that I'm super keeping up on, so.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of bricking my $300 consoles.
Exactly. So
I never have been.
If you want more news about hacking your console, this is probably not the place to do it. So, with that said,
moving on. Funimation wants Goku in Super Smash Brothers. So does Colin.
Yeah, so does I think everybody. I can't really imagine this is something that anyone would say no to, except for the licensing people, because Dragon Ball has always been a licensing mess. Like, everything about the show is just, it's really hard to get stuff elsewhere.
You say that, but there are literally more games featuring Goku as the hero than there are games featuring Mario as the hero on Nintendo consoles alone.
Yes, and there were, I think it was around the movie time. Around the movie time, there was a lot of, like, controversy in that they were trying to bring, I don't remember. There were people trying to bring stuff from the Japanese like Dragon Ball World over here, and it was just failing because of the licensing issues. But I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I would love to see this. I think that he's a super iconic character, and he could be really fun in Smash. But
Okay, no. There's no way he fits in Smash, though. How does he not just fly away and nuke the stage every single fight?
and with that, who else would we like to be coming to the Switch?
No, hold on a second. Also, this guy, too. Okay, yeah, we'll move on, because he also can fly.
I mean,
The head of Xbox is okay with Banjo-Kazooie coming to the Switch. Okay, so he can also fly.
okay,
How does that work, too?
but we've seen that. We've seen there are flying characters. Kirby can fly. Jigglypuff can fly. There
But
are
only
more.
for, like, limited amounts of time. I guess Banjo-Kazooie can only fly for a limited amount of time.
In the games, I'm pretty sure Kirby can fly indefinitely, no?
Yeah, actually, probably can, in the new ones especially.
Yeah.
I remember it being limited in the old ones, but...
So it's just they just make changes to the characters. So
I'm just saying Goku can fly and Spirit Ball
yeah,
the stage
I
every
know.
time.
When I first brought it up, you got like super Goku could beat anybody in a fight nerd, and I was just like I completely forgot that this was a thing and I should have prepared for that. Anyway, Banjo-Kazooie would be cool. Are you that's also something that you're hyped for, eh?
Yes. Yep, this one right here.
I mean, it'd be cool. So we'll go on to talk about more about what Rare says about other people using their IP. This is clearly something that they're comfortable with and thinking about. So I really want to see this. But I will say that overall, I put this in the same way that I put like Kirby abilities before Kirby release. Nothing here is really going to do anything for me personally. There's no character that if this character gets added, I don't care anymore. I care extra now. I'm gonna buy Smash. It's gonna get pre-ordered. I'm not pre-ordering it now because I'm gonna wait for a release date because I'm not you, but I am definitely gonna pre-order it and play it on day one. So
I'm gonna be real honest. The only reason I did it now is because the last 2 or 3 things that I pre-ordered on Amazon, Amazon doesn't understand what the word pre-order means. So if you pre-order later than other people pre-order, your pre-order shows up a month late on occasion. Like my Power A controller, I pre-ordered that and got it 2 months late. That's not. I could have just bought one from Target by the time my pre-order came in. So
also Fire Emblem Warriors.
well, I don't remember specifically that one, but I do remember getting that late. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
But I don't
Warriors
remember
was
how
like a
long it
month
took, I
late.
mean. Yeah. That's right. Yep. So
Fair enough.
I wanted to get it in, and I wanted to get it in early, so that when it comes a month late, I know that that's not the problem. Moving on, you can pre-download Phantasy Star Online 2. Wow.
Yep. Wow. It's currently JP only, so you have to make a Japanese account for this, which is really annoying and hard to navigate, as I'll detail later when I talk about happy birthdays. But if you make the account before the live launch, you get a bunch of pre-release stuff. There's a bunch of items. But at its core, it's an MMO, so if you don't speak Japanese, you probably shouldn't be doing this unless you're really into Phantasy Star Online. But yeah, that's a thing. You can pre-download it now. And it releases in a month. It's like mid-April, I believe, so...
All right, moving on. Nintendo Japan put out a great video for their spring lineup.
Yeah, that's about it, really. It's just like a little commercial for them. There's a link in the show notes, and it's fun. It's just fun.
Speaking of breaking your stuff, your consoles, there are more third-party breakage news.
There are more yeah. So
that was written really well. Thank you for that.
So some third-party LAN adapters are now non-functional, and my takeaway from this is stop buying third-party stuff. Nintendo is clearly anything that directly interfaces with your console as its main connection point and isn't wireless like 8BitDo. I would not buy any of that anymore because it's just they're clearly doing a lot to change their interfaces, and it's just stuff is breaking switches, the interface is breaking. I said wireless stuff that runs wirelessly seems to be doing fine. But yeah, so I would just stop buying anything that isn't Nintendo branded for a little bit.
Which is so BS, but yeah, unfortunately.
At least, okay, so it looks like it is a side effect and not their intended behavior. Like they're not trying to break third-party LAN adapters or third-party docks last week.
I mean, intention or not, it's so BS that I have to buy the $90 dock if I want my dock to work all the time. So annoying. But yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
Just salty.
That's fair. I mean, I'm in the same boat. I want another dock. I need another dock right here so that I can play Splatoon or whatever at my desk. And I need this to be a thing. But it's $90. I need controllers too, and
I
controllers are more
want two
important.
more docks, and I don't. That's
At that point, you've spent as much on docks as you did on the console.
yeah. Like I mean, we may as well just get Jasmine to switch, and then another dock, because at that point, it's not that much more in. But anyway, moving along. Best-selling indie games. We have a list. What's this list?
So this is straight from Nintendo, by the way. But yeah, the list is SteamWorld Dig 2, Stardew Valley, Kamiko, I don't know, Celeste, Fast RMX, Golf Story, Enter the Gungeon, Overcooked Special Edition, NBA Playgrounds, Shovel Knight Treasure Trove, and that's it. And I did not put a good break there to clear the end of that list. So yeah, I have played half of this list, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I've got 4 of these. I've played 5 rather. I own 4 on the Switch. And the 5 that I have, I like a lot, and I'm seriously considering just going down the list and grabbing everything I haven't, just because, I don't know, I trust the community. I trust that the games that people are excited about are good games, and I know a lot of these are very widely well received. What about you? You've played 3 of these, 4 of these?
Yeah, I own / have played 3 of these, and there are a couple on this list that I'd like to try that aren't really my jam, which is why I haven't yet. Like Celeste, I'd like to try that. I'd like to try Golf Story because I just keep hearing a lot about it. And NBA Playgrounds, I've seen enough of Overcooked to know exactly what it is, and to know that I don't have enough friends for that.
Play it with Jasmine.
But
play it with your fiance.
yeah, right. You're right.
I mean, if you ever want to torpedo that relationship, just play Overcooked with her.
Just cancel the wedding. Forget it.
Yeah.
We played Overcooked and it's just over.
I played that with one of my nerd nights, and after 45 minutes of it, one of my buddies was just like, I can't, it's too much, it's too stressful, I can't play any more of that.
It looks really stressful. Like, I don't understand how that's enjoyable.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun. It may be more fun after a little bit of apple juice, just throwing that out there.
Apple juice is good. Makes everything better.
So yeah, I want to play Into the Gungeon, but I'm afraid it's too bullet helly for me, so I don't know. I'll probably go through this as soon as I hit another dry spot in my gaming.
When I come down to Portland, you can try it. How about that?
Oh, that's right. You have it. I forgot about that. Okay, cool.
Yeah. We're definitely going to have a nerd night.
Yeah.
All right. When I come down to Portland. Portland's definitely above me. Anyway, Hori has released a left-only Joy-Con with a magical feature. What is it?
A non-terrible D-pad.
Well, hold on. You don't know that it's non-terrible.
I mean, that's the whole point of this of the product is that it's a good D-pad. This is how they're marketing it. It's how they're selling it. Is that it's a non-terrible D-pad. If they drop this and it's a piece of garbage, then I feel like the world would lose their minds. It's I mean, Hori's not a bad brand. They make the arcade sticks from Street Fighter. That's where I know them from. So, and they made those.
Their Switch stuff is questionable, pretty much.
Is it? What are they?
Yeah. So their best product that I'm aware of is their play stand. They have a play stand that folds almost completely flat, and that's really good. But their Pro controller is very strange, and there's a few other things that are I don't know. They're hit or miss in the Switch space.
Rip. Okay. Well, I will wait for that. In any case, it is available for pre-order right now for $25, so it's super cheap compared to the $45?
And it's fair to you also have to throw in there. It doesn't have gyro. It doesn't have any of the features of the normal left Joy-Con. All it has is it's a skin with a D-pad essentially.
It's a good D-pad though.
You hope.
Hopefully good D-pad. Yeah.
You hope for Hori's sake, it's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. What other controllers do we know about?
Those are A. It's an A, dude. There are also a bunch of new Power A controllers.
Yeah, and they look pretty sick. So we have new designs based on. There's got one of them that features Donkey Kong, one of them that features Splatoon characters, one with Link, Mario, Yoshi, and Bowser. And again, they look so good. I really want one of these. I just wish they weren't so underfeatured. Ignoring the gyro alone, I understand that the gyro probably doesn't fit with a wired controller. That would be kind of weird. But the lack of rumble in them is a big deal because there's a lot of weight that you lose when you don't have those little weights in the controllers. Like I just don't understand.
Well, so they put weights in the controllers,
Oh, did
but
they?
they're still nowhere near like heavy enough.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw Spawn Wave took one apart. He's like, this thing is super light. It's just gonna be empty plastic. He took it apart. There's weights in both handles, and he's like, this is a joke. They literally put weights in it, and I still can't tell.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think that, like, I want one of these because, again, Nerd Night, it's like, right now, I've got one person using a Pro Controller, which is me, because I'm selfish and a jerk. One person uses the dual Joy-Cons in the little handle thing, and then 2 people are using Joy-Cons, and the 2 people using Joy-Cons are complaining about it, because it's just that it's kind of
not a comfortable way to play.
Yeah, there's a lot of issues there. It's a compromise for sure. And so getting another Power A would be great for these kinds of people. No, I'm not buying that. The controller is terrible.
Is it more terrible than 2 separate Joy-Cons?
It's more expensive than 2 separate Joy-Cons.
That's true.
So, but yeah, these are here. They look really good. You should go look at them. And that's all because limited functionality.
Moving along. Ark is coming to the Switch.
Woo! So it has got a physical and digital release. It'll have feature parity with the Xbox One and PS4 versions, and it's releasing this fall. If you don't know, Ark is like think like Rust style survival game. You drop on an island. I think you're actually naked when you start because that's how these games like to go. And you have to build clothes, build a shelter, build weapons. Oh, and dinos. That's the important part. Is there's dinos that try to kill you.
Yeah, that's the big part. Yeah.
I see what you did there. They're big because they're dinos.
That's actually, I didn't mean to. I'm sorry. Take it back.
I apologize to everyone listening to this.
All right, let's move on. The CEO of the company that made Ark goes on to talk about the porting process. So this should be good.
That's actually much nicer than I expected. He acknowledges that there is a power disparity between the Xbox One and the Xbox and the PS4 and the Switch, but it is not as pronounced as the kind of general consensus would have you believe. He says that his bigger complaint is about sizing of games and fitting everything onto the size. Because when you buy a PS4, you've got a half a terabyte, 500 gigs of storage space to put stuff on. With the Switch, you've got, 32? I think it's got 32 gigs default plus a 16 gig cart. And he says the 32 gig carts are prohibitively expensive, and you should never be making the choice to put stuff on the 32 gig cart. So this doesn't bode well. I feel like if there's actually one like real hardware issue with the Switch, this is it. And if there's one thing that's going to cause serious problems for Nintendo down the line, this is it.
Well, I mean, it should in theory get better the longer the system's alive because stuff gets cheaper. Like we're seeing memory cards get cheaper as newer ones with higher capacities are coming out. So in theory, yes, but also in theory, no.
I think that's less true in an environment where you're using like proprietary cartridges versus,
Yeah, that's fair.
Though at its core, it is just memory, so hopefully you are correct.
All right, moving on. Redbox is expanded to 3 new cities. Wow, which 3?
Denver, SLC, and Nashville. Wow. So if you didn't know, Redbox is game rental, movie and game rental. You go up to here they're really popular outside of grocery stores and 7-Elevens. Just walk up to a 7-Eleven. There's a big kiosk-looking thing. It's just giant and red. And you go, I want that thing, and you tap on the screen, and then it drops you a game. And if you're really lucky, sometimes it drops you a piece of paper with the sticker on it because the previous person stole it.
Ha! That's a thing?
That's definitely a thing. Somebody posted, so on the Switch subreddit, somebody posted, Redbox is now in my city. And then the next post, literally the post below it is like, I got a stolen game out of Redbox. It's just like, rip.
Fantastic.
So if that happens to you, contact support and they'll take care of you. But yeah, so you rent Switch games. I think it's a really cool system. I found in my city, because it's here, and it's not very well supported, I rented a game out of there's one down the convenience store down the street from me, and they just never replaced it. That Redbox just doesn't offer Mario Rabbids anymore because I returned it somewhere else. And so there's some support issues, but if it's there, definitely check it out. If you're one of the 6 cities, the other 3 are Seattle, Portland, and San Antonio. So definitely check those out.
All right, moving along. Nintendo announced 2 invitationals for E3.
Yep, they are Splatoon and Smash.
Whoa! How'd
So
they
this-
do that? They just announced it.
I mean, Sakurai did tweet about saying that he's been working on it for years in silence. So
Years, actually? Wow.
he may have only
I
said
thought
a
he said
long time.
A while?
Yeah. Leave
Yeah.
my hyperbole alone.
At any rate.
So yeah, this will probably be the first we see of this. E3 is in June, so 2 months out. So that's pretty exciting. The Splatoon tournament will be featuring teams from local championships in the NA, the EU, Japan, and the AU-NZ region, because apparently they get one together.
Yeah, they're basically the same place. Don't
Yeah.
tell them I said that.
Yeah. I don't think we have any AU or New Zealand listeners, so we're okay. But if you are an Australia or New Zealand listener, we'd love to hear from you. Yeah. Where can you find info about this?
And if you want to read the info on the above, you can do so at
The E3 website, which contains literally nothing but information about the invitationals. But I'm kind of hoping that they expand this more. They'll probably put their presentations on it and whatnot. So yeah, that's there. There's a link in the show notes. But again, it's currently empty, basically. So definitely keep an eye on that.
Closer to the event.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, moving along. Roller Coaster Tycoon put out a gameplay video from GDC.
Yeah, so there's a link in the show notes. It's a 10-minute video, and he just like runs through very basic sandbox mode where you can see him building a park a little bit and then playing in the park, like looking through it and modifying things. He also rattled off some of the important features of the game. So September 2018 is their goal release date. It has some reused art and assets from the touch version. It has touchscreen and controller controls. Go figure, touchscreen. I mean, like, this and the touch version were built in the same tool. They were both built in Unity, so I'm kind of expecting this is going to be touch version ++. He explicitly calls out that they're trying to make it its own distinct game, but I kind of take that as marketing BS personally. But I'm a cynic, so that's me. And then finally, it's going to be 1080p docked, 720 handheld, and 30 FPS. So all you 60 FPS purists, just don't get to play this game.
I mean, if you're a 60 FPS purist and you own a Switch, what are you doing with your life?
Truth. So yeah, that's there. It's in the show notes again, and it looks pretty good. I'm less afraid of this game now than I was when we first started talking about it. I really thought it was just going to be a touch port, and he does explicitly call out that they're making it their own distinct game. It's not going to have the microtransactions. It's not going to have the timers. It's not going to be that game. So that excites me. And you were going to buy this regardless, weren't you?
I'm actually TBD. I really liked 2 and 3, but it's been so long. I don't know that I would enjoy this anymore.
You should check out the video.
I've evolved, you know?
Yeah. I mean, this is the sort of like management sim thing that really gets me excited. These are the kinds of games that I love. This is what I mean when I say that I like management sims like Football Manager.
I like making incomplete tracks and watching them fly off. That's what I enjoy. But you know, that's just me.
I was tweeting off the show account talking to people, and at one point I said the things that I used to do in this game would get me barred from holding public office. So
All right, let's move on. Nintendo has patented trading cards with amiibo tech inside.
ooh, speculation abounds. So yeah, they're like, they specifically call out in the patent the ability to buy them and then trade them and collect them. That's kind of the goal. They also have a series of symbols on the cards in the patent that make it look like it's probably going to have some game elements to it. Each card has a rock, paper, or scissors icon in the corner, and then each card shows a die face, a 6-sided die face that has 1 through 6 on it. And then they also have like pictures of whatever. It's very awful patent art. So if you've never seen what a patent looks like, it's amazing because the art is just so terribly hilarious.
So derivative and boring.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, it looks like a technical writer was told to write, write a patent and it needs to have representations that there will be art on it. It's amazing. So there's a link to the full news article if you want to look at the pictures, because again, they're hilarious. But yeah,
Just writes, "This is art.
this is a picture of a creature."
This is a Pikachu."
So there's a lot of places they could take this, and I'm actually really excited for it. I love trading card games. I played a lot of Magic. I played a lot of Hearthstone. This terrifies me, but also excites me at the same time, because I think at one point
It excites you, but it terrifies your wallet.
Yeah,
That's what it
exactly. I've got, in Hearthstone alone, I've got like $500 in purchases made. Not to mention like Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh, which I played for a while too. Which, like, those games get expensive. If you didn't know, trading card games, real trading card games, not Hearthstone, get really expensive. So, but yeah, I'm still excited.
EOSIM. Moving on. Game Tech is releasing a stylus intended to be used for Splatoon 2 drawings. Yes, please.
Are you gonna get into the Splatoon 2 drawing world?
I already do, but they're awful because I use the touchscreen and it's awful.
Do you really?
Yeah, all the time. I love it. That's my favorite part.
I mean, I like the game, where you spray ink on the walls and splat other kids, but sure, if the art is the best part to you.
Pretty sure you can't say that in like 50 states.
Okay. Oh, are we still doing phrasing?
Also graffiti is illegal. But anyway, yeah, no. I like to draw pictures, but you do you.
So these can be imported from Amazon Japan for around 13 USD. Yeah, money conversions are weird, and they will ship starting April 20th, so a little bit of ways away. I think this is cool that they're supporting this. I've been wondering how people do some of the amazing stuff they do. I legit thought people were importing stuff from a PC somehow. So
I read, I can't remember. I read how they were doing it before. They were like saving something to something and then uploading it.
Oh, and it's just like file management.
Well, and some people were going in pixel by pixel and like black, white, black, white, black, white. Like I think it was Mario Kart 7. You could put like decals on the front of your car. You could like draw them on their cart, and there were like things on Reddit where you could be like, all right, so in this quadrant, put these things, and then this one, and then when you zoomed out, it was like, oh man, I just drew Yoshi.
Decals.
Decal.
Decals.
I just said fecal matter, didn't I? Anyway, moving on. So I fell victim to this one already. So Best Buy is doing a fat sale, as you wrote.
That is exactly what I wrote.
What games are in this fat sale?
So this is a super limited list. It's a big list, and a lot of them I didn't care about, so I'm just gonna cut down stuff that I don't care about. So we've got 4 here for you. Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. It was 60, is now 30, which is wild. For the most part, I kind of expected their big drops to be games that kind of got panned or have issues. But this is a fairly well-received game that got a 50% sale, so who knows there. Rocket League Collector's Edition went from 40 to 30. See, that's kind of what I expected. Rocket League is considered to be a good game. Drop $10. That's about reasonable. I wouldn't expect Rocket League to go down half. But moving on, FIFA 18 went from 60 to 40. Again, it's not a very good game, so here we are. NBA 2K18, a game that everybody loved, went from 60 to 30, which again, that makes sense to me. And yeah, there's a full link in the show notes with all of the games. A lot of them are smaller discounts. I didn't think there were a lot that were, $30, $20. It was mostly like $10 discounts. So that's there. If you've got a Best Buy locally, check that out. I actually forgot to check if you could see them online. And that is my mistake, so.
I don't know. All I know is I had some old laptops that I went to recycle. And I was like, hey, there's a big thing with the front switch on it. Let me go check out what's on there. And I was like, what? Mario Rabbids is $30. I think it's a mistake. Let's grab this and start the car.
Just get out of there.
Just like, yeah, let's no, the sticker says $30. He's like, yeah, no, it's $30. I'm like, oh. And I was telling you about it on the way home. You're like, yeah, no, we're gonna talk about that on the show today. It's like, whoa. Yeah, so there's that. Some more of those games were like WWE, Fire Emblem Warriors, etc., etc. So yeah. Anyway, moving along. Happy Birthdays demo. Devon, tell me about this. Demon. Tell me about this Happy Birthdays demo.
Demon played the demo. Anyway, yeah.
Your name is Demon.
I am Demon. So this is a thing. It was on the Japanese eShop. I wanted to talk about it at the top of the show, and I forgot to, so I'm just gonna slot this here at the end of the news. That's my song about slotting stuff in at the end of the news.
Nice, I loved it.
And moving on from my shame. Yeah, so you have to dig into this through the the Japanese eShop, which is very difficult. I did not expect it to be as hard as it was. But yeah, it's kind of a weird game. I'm definitely going to buy it because I feel like there's good potential here, but it's just an odd game. You're given a very like large goal, and you kind of have to figure out how you want to get there. And it's the idea is that you are a god who controls this little ecosystem, and you have to promote the evolution of cool animals. If you don't like evolution, you should probably not play this game because it's a big fan of that.
Hey, on the game releases. We got only 2 for you today because there weren't that many that came out last week. So the first one up, Attack on Titan 2.
That is a 2, my bad. Yeah, so it is a 3D action game. It is 7611 CAD, which can we just take a moment to acknowledge the other game on this list is 2451 CAD. Like, what are you guys doing up there? Why is this a thing?
I mean, it's funny because pennies don't exist unless you are like paying with card. So this game is 7610 in a store because pennies are not a thing.
Oh,
but whatever.
Yeah, pricing is silly. It is 69.99 euros, 54.99 pounds, and 59.99 USD. So it's based on a fairly well-received anime. It is one of like 3 animes that I have ever actually watched. So that says a lot. I watched the whole thing, or the whole first season rather. And the premise behind it is that the world has been overrun by giant, oversized humanoids, I will say. And the humans have kind of moved into this tiny, very heavily walled city to get away from them because the giant, oversized humanoids are scary and they kill people. You play as one of the characters who is tasked with fighting the Titans. You're part of a defense force which has a name which Colin might be able to rattle off here. Never mind, he cannot. So it's the majority of the game is based around that combat where you fight the giant humanoids, and it's kind of got that, I want to say, kind of like Spider-Man feel where you're using these like strings and stuff to attach to things and swinging through the air to get to the tops of the Titans because they're sensitive at the back of their neck. And it looks like a lot of fun. I'm really considering buying it. I don't know if it's worth $60, and that's kind of the issue that I'm having right now. So it's a port of a older game, and it's got some fairly significant performance issues going on. And
is it actually a port?
Yeah,
I thought it was a complete redo.
I don't actually know now if it's a port or a remaster. I thought it was a port, but I'm not sure.
Oh, it's not a remaster. I mean, it's basically like the first game all over again. Like the reviews that we keep seeing over and over, like if you liked 1, you'll like 2 because it's basically the same thing, but they added a bunch more stuff. I don't think it's a port, but I mean, I wouldn't actually be surprised thinking about it now.
Just want to take a moment to comment on those reviews that we were reading. It's not helpful. If you liked 1, you'll like 2. It's not a helpful statement because I didn't play 1, so I need more information. Help me, please. I legit saw a review that was basically all he said, and it just please put more information.
Nothing's different. It's the same as 1. Thanks.
For those of us that didn't play 1, get bent. Anyway, so if you like the first one, that being said, of course, this is more of the same. And again, I'm interested, but I don't know if it's worth $60. I did see that performance issues were a problem. So, oh yeah, and then there's some other features. There's some base building where you can build up like artillery that'll help you in the fights. There's some social sims where you can make friends with the people, and the more you make friends with them, they'll help you more. So this little kind of like side feature sprinkled in is always fun. So yeah,
it's a good game. Buy it.
Is it though?
No, I don't even know. Anyway, moving on. Shantae and the Pirate's Curse.
So it is a re-release of an old DS game. It is a Metroidvania, which I will cry about in just one moment as I get through this. It is 2451 CAD, which again, why? 1622 euros, 1459 pounds, and 1999 USD. It is currently digital only, but it is planned to have a physical release later this year. And I did not realize that these games were Metroidvanias. I legitimately did not know that at all. And I'm very sad because I just bought Axiom Verge last night to kind of get further into the Metroidvania world. But all that being said, it follows the standard Metroidvania style with you start with a basic weapon and you get more tools to explore the world. You hit a wall that is a block off and you have to get a new tool to get through it, and I'm going to pause the recording for just a second.
They just pieced.
Could you hear that?
We couldn't hear it.
Okay, good. You could just see it?
Yeah.
All right, so at 40 minutes in the recording, I need to cut some of this.
You were good. You didn't need to.
Well, I mean, now it's become a thing, so. And after some technical difficulties, I'm going to finish off Shantae's Pirate's Curse. Cats are the devil. I just want everybody to know that. That's all I'm trying to say. So it follows the Metroidvania style, I said that. But they do move a little bit away from that in that they made the dungeons feel more Zelda-like, whereas, you know, somewhere halfway through the dungeon, you're going to get a new tool, and then everything else is going to be based on that one tool. The boss fight is going to be that. All of the new puzzles are going to be that, so I like that. I'm a big fan of the Zelda games, that kind of Zelda formula, so I really, really want this. It's a little too expensive for an impulse buy, and I've kind of burned through my gaming budget for this month because I also bought Divinity Original Sin. But I do want to play this, so. But yeah, those are the games for the week. If you have played either of those, definitely let us know what you think at our Discord.
Hey, moving on to the segment. So we had a Nintendies Direct recently, so we're just going to run down the stuff from the Nintendies Direct. Take it away with Mark of the Ninja Remastered first up.
So, Mark of the Ninja is a stealth action game from Clay. If you've never played a Clay game, they make really good stuff. Not everything is for me, but it's all good. So I will say that. This particular game, though, is for me. It is a lot of fun. It is one of the best stealth games I've ever played. I put it up there with Tenchu, an old PS2 game that I was in love with back in the day. It is releasing fall 2018.
And that's that. Do you want me to skip this one?
Yeah.
Now?
I mean, why?
Yeah, okay. All right, next up, Lumines Remastered. How do you say that? Lumines? Lumines? Luminous?
However you want to.
Luminous Remastered. Tell me about Luminous Remastered.
So it's a puzzle / Tetris alike. It's got a very strong focus on the music of it. The music is fun. As you play through it, it kind of, the beats will shift and you'll get new music as the game progresses, and it makes for a very enjoyable kind of game. This is one of those games that's really built for portable. It's really good if you've got 10 minutes to kill. You're going to want to just burn through a Luminous level and play it until you lose. It's definitely a day one buy for me, and because I wrote that, I did not write a release date because
who cares? It comes out, you buy it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's probably what my thinking was when I was writing these. Anyway, that's Luminous.
Next up, Just Shapes and Beats.
So when they talked about this game, they said hell, which kind of threw me off. I did not expect that. I didn't realize that was something that Nintendo would say in a public presentation. So, funniness aside, it is a musical bullet hell. It did not look like a bullet hell at all to me. I saw one screen where the character was swimming around dodging bullets, so I don't know what, maybe that means something different to them than it does to me. It's got a strong focus on chiptunes, and they specifically call out that there are 20 different chiptunes artists that made the soundtrack for the game, so that has potential. I find that when games like this are really built around their musical aspect, I really like that. Luminous is another example of this, where the music was such a big part of it, and the artists were such a big part, that it really enhanced that kind of the franticness of it and the experience for me. So it is also going to have local and online co-op, which again, I don't know how they do that in a bullet hell. It's just, I'm so... Admittedly, I'm not super into this genre, so I don't really know too much, but it just seems so non-standard to me, which is good. It will also have a story mode, which, just gonna hit that again, it's okay. Bullet hell with story mode. And it releases this summer, so...
Neat. Alright, moving on. Reigns, Kings and Queens.
So it is a port of a phone game, and it is... So it's an interesting phone game. It's not... I hesitate to call it good, but it's definitely interesting. So you play as a monarch, and you're repeatedly just given binary options. You get, your Minister of War will come to you. So it's set in, medieval Europe. Your Minister of War will come to you, and he'll say, oh, your army is kind of lackluster. Do you want to spend money to increase your army? And then you say yes or no. And it's a series of those kinds of decisions. Then your bishop will come to you and say, oh, you're ignoring God. You need to put more energy into, go to church every Sunday, and that'll anger your Minister of War. And so you get these 4 different sections of the game. You've got yeah, 4 different sections to manage, and every time you do something, it makes certain people happy and certain people mad, and you have to manage them to stay alive. Basically, anytime any of those meters goes to 0, you lose. And I mean, that's kind of the gist of it. It was okay as a phone game. I don't understand how this expands into a full Switch game, and it's got local co-op, and I don't understand what that means, because literally the whole game is a card pops in front of you, it has text on it, and you press left or right. And if you press left, you get one option, you press right, you get the other. I don't know how that's a co-op game. I really have no clue, and I'm kind of intrigued, but also it's probably going to be a full price title, and I'm not going to spend $20 to learn how they made Reigns a $2 phone game multiplayer. So.
I'm in the same boat. Let's move on. The Messenger.
It's a 2D action platformer. It looks like the old school Shinobi games if you played any of those. And the hook is that you can switch from 8-bit to 16-bit. I don't really know that that's enough to anchor a full game. I mean, I'm traditionally a hater, and I'm kind of over action platformers like this in general. So I'm definitely not the best person to listen to for this, but it feels like kind of a thin premise to base a game on. But yeah. That's The Messenger, and it releases 2018, summer 2018. That's the important bit.
Moving on, Fantasy Strike.
So it's a 2D fighting game. It is focused around easy to perform combos and specials. I don't know, if people haven't ever played like Street Fighter to a serious level, that game is obscene. There are a lot of what are called one-frame links. So you have one frame, which is 1/60th of a second, where you have to hit a button. And if you don't press that button in that 1/60th of a frame, or 1/60th of a second, you lose your combo. So at a competitive level, Street Fighter is really hard to play. And so Searlin Games, who made this, really focused this around making that more approachable. They want the controls to be easier, they want the combos to be less convoluted and less memorization there. And as a general rule, Searlin Games makes great games. I own 2 of their board games out there in my living room, and they're both great games. So I'm really excited for this. I really like Searlin's design philosophy and how he thinks about games in general. He was a old school Street Fighter 2 competitor, and he actually wrote a really good book on like competitive gameplay, which I actually also own and is very enjoyable. So I'm very excited for this, and I will definitely be day oneing it. And it releases summer 2018.
All right, next up, Pool Panic.
So it is a Adult Swim game, which they make weird stuff, or they publish weird stuff, and that's kind of part of their identity, I think, but it's always interesting for sure. So it's an adventure game where every space is a pool table. It looked like there was combat on this in that way. There's exploration in that way. And there's one room where he was like in a town square, and a cue hit the main character, who is a cue ball, and just knocks him through the realm, or through the world. And it seemed like that was kind of the locomotion intention. It's a weird game, which is again kind of their bread and butter. And that releases this year.
Excellent window. Moving on, Garage from the Tiny Build Games.
And that was how they introed it, is Garage from Tiny Build Games. And I don't really know if that's the name, or because I know Tiny Build Games is a studio, a dev studio. So
the name is definitely Garage, but it's from Tiny Build Games.
I just don't understand why they introed that. They didn't introduce Fantasy Strike as Fantasy Strike from Searlin Games. Anyway, not important. It is a top-down shooter. It is inspired by the hyper-gory B-movies from the 90s. They explicitly called out that there's a lot of gameplay. They had to be very choosy with the gameplay, rather, that they showed on the showcase, because a lot of it's just not stuff that they're going to put in a public display or a public event. It looks like it plays like Hotline Miami to me, in that you kind of walk around in that top-down view. You have you shoot with your twin stick. It is controlled with 2 sticks, and you get new guns and stuff, and you explore like a housing base, basically. And it looked interesting. This isn't really a genre that I'm into, so I don't know about it, but yeah. And
Amen.
It releases spring 2018.
All right, moving on. Lightfall.
Lightfall is a 2D action platformer. It comes equipped with a speedrun mode, which is cool if you're into that. And so it's a 2D platformer. And the premise is that you have a semi-sentient magical box, that helps you through the world. So the examples that they show is that in a lot of stuff, so he was trying to do a vertical puzzle, so he's trying to get to the top. So he jumps, and then the box spawns to the right of him, and then he lands on that box and grapples to it. And then he jumps, and the box spawns to the left of him now, and he lands on that. And it's just kind of that, it moves through the world to help you. They didn't really detail how that's controlled, because, I mean, if those are just automatic, then it's not really a mechanic, but if it's manually controlled, I don't know how you manually place things. Anyway, so this looks kind of interesting. Again, it's a 2D platformer, and I'm traditionally kind of down on those. So, speaking of 2D platformers that I'm down on.
Yo, this one is the best one in the entire showcase. Second best one. Bomb Chicken.
So it's a 2D puzzle platformer. It releases summer 2018. And I don't understand why Colin is so enamored with it, but he is very excited.
It's hilarious. It looks hilarious. He just poops out bombs at will, and then kicks them or throws them or does whatever he needs to with them, and they blow up. And the animation is super silly. You're wrong. It's the second best game on this list.
I mean, I'm going to basically say the exact same thing in approximately 2 games, so we'll get there. We're
definitely going to fight. We're definitely gonna fight.
I know. But yeah, so it's a 2D plus platformer. It released this summer 2018. And
moving on. Buddha.
And that is how they pronounced it. Pode is how it's spelled. We spent a good while going, how is this even pronounced? Until I rewatched the video and they pronounced it. And it's Puda. So it is a 3D puzzle platformer. It is really pretty. It looks really good. You were pretty hype on this.
Yeah, it looks to me like an adult version of Kirby Star Allies in a way, because like you have to use your 2 dudes appropriately to solve the puzzles, which is a lot of what Kirby Star Allies is using your guys appropriately to solve puzzles.
So on that note, it is also they made it very clear that it is a 2-player focused game. They explicitly called out, yes, you can play it single player, but that is not the intended play pattern. You should be playing it with the second player, which I assume is, you who play games with your fiance is probably a big draw.
Oh, absolutely. I'm super excited for that.
So that is Puda.
So we're just going to skip this next one.
And it releases spring 2018. The next one is, I will intro it because Fight Me
fine.
Is West of Loathing. So it is a slapstick comedy JRPG. If you've ever played Kingdom of Loathing, it's similar to that, but it's obviously a full game. It is drawn in a stick art style, and it's very punny. If you've ever read like Piers Anthony books, those are a great example of this, where everything is a pun. And everything is just, it's dumb and silly. And I think Colin hates it because of the art style, because everybody's literally a stick figure. Like everything is done in stick art.
It just looks dumb. It just looks bad.
No, Colin's a hater. So yeah, this is a thing. I honestly probably won't play it because, again, JRPGs are not something that I have time for anymore in my life, but I definitely enjoyed Kingdom of Loathing growing up. I had a lot of fun with that game. Yeah. So I'm intrigued. And if it's like $10, $15, $20, I think it's $11 on Steam. So if it's in that same range, I'll probably pick it up and then play it for 20 minutes and then ignore it. But on to something that we agree on.
Yes, this is the one that I'm actually the most excited for. Bad North. Talk to me about some Bad North.
Yeah, I want to come back to that, but it is a real-time, this is a direct quote from the show, a real-time tactics roguelike, which is some kind of word soup that doesn't actually mean anything. It looks to me like the StarCraft managing troops aspect, where there's a squad of units coming in, and you've got to use your spearmen to throw spears at him before he comes in and devastates your town. The roguelike aspect is that you've got a certain number of squads, and if one of those squads falls, if the commander of that squad falls, you lose the squad, and then they're just gone. And then in the subsequent levels, they're just gone. And I did not realize that this was your most hyped. I knew it was up there for you, but I didn't realize it was there.
This and Bomb Chicken are the only games, and Puda.
See,
those are the only games I care about.
You got rid of the pronunciation guide, and now we don't know how to pronounce it.
I just didn't want poo in the show notes. Sue me.
Okay, that's fair. So yeah, this is a thing, and it looks really good. I'm super intrigued in how it plays. I'm super intrigued in how it controls, because it does look like a game that would be better served by a mouse and keyboard rather than what it's a Switch controller. But it definitely still has potential. Oh, and it releases summer 2018.
Yeah, summer 2018. Finally, the last one, Banner Saga 3.
Woo! Which they sold as
Or
like
whatever.
this big reveal. And I was just like, oh, it's Banner Saga. I played this on my phone. Like, but anyway, it's a story-driven strategy RPG, and this one is the conclusion of the series. It releases in September 2018, and it will also come with Banner Saga 1 and 2. Well, it won't come with, but they're also releasing Banner Saga 1 and 2. Soon TM. That's all they said was soon TM. And there will be save carryover across all 3 games. So your story, your particular story tidbits, which implies that you can change the story as you play, which to me is a big deal, will carry over across all 3 games. The one thing to note, from the phone version, it is hard. So the phone version was a buy it and get it, and there's no microtransactions, so that's not a thing. But it was very difficult. I like these games. I'm not super great at them, but I definitely like them. And I got stuck multiple times, so that's a thing. But they are cool games. They're very pretty, and they're in a unique setting. I don't see a lot of games based on like Norse stuff, and this has got it's very thoroughly in the Norse world with the Norse version of giants and whatnot. So yeah, those are things. That's a microphone. And that about wraps us up. We have to talk about the question of the week. That's right. So our question of the time period, not week, sorry, is how do you let review scores affect your opinions? And yeah, let us know. You can find that at bit.ly/DSNpoll25, all lowercase. That was me pausing to find the link. So yeah, go in there and let us know what you think. That wraps us up for the show. If you want to email us, we will read it here at the end of the show. You can do so at desyncednerds@gmail.com. If you prefer Twitter, you can tweet at the show at desyncednerds, or at either of us individually. I'm at Kulana, as he said, Kulanah, and he is at DSN Colin. If you want to support the show, we are on Patreon at patreon.com/desyncednerds. If you want to do so but can't do so, if you want to support the show but cannot do so monetarily, you can rate and review us on iTunes or Stitcher. And again, we will read those in the section above. If you want to see us live, we will be on Twitch, not next Sunday as I wrote, but the Sunday after, because again, next show is cancelled. We are on twitch.tv/desyncednerds, and our VODs will be up on YouTube for Desynced Nerds. I will say, if you care, the VODs are less edited. I've got a section that I'm cutting out because there were cats fighting in my room, and that will be in the VOD. So if you want the doctored version, definitely listen to it here. We are also on Discord. You can talk to us there at bit.ly/DSN Discord, all lowercase. And thanks for listening, everybody.
Peace.